There was a girl named Amelia. She grew up in an old orphanage on the edge of town. The building was cold. The food was never enough. But Amelia was different. While the other children played, she sat with broken computers the orphanage had thrown away. She loved fixing them. She loved learning. Every night, under the dim light of a small bulb, she dreamed of a family. She dreamed of love. She dreamed of belonging. One morning, everything changed. A black car pulled up outside the orphanage gates. The children ran to the windows, whispering, pointing. Out stepped a wealthy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Williams. They looked elegant, but their eyes carried sadness. Years ago, they had lost their little daughter. A wound that never healed. With them were their two sons, Ethan, the eldest, tall and serious, and Daniel, the younger, playful and kind. The caretaker led them into the hall. The children lined up, nervous, hoping, praying. The couple's eyes scanned the room. Then, they stopped. Amelia stood at the end of the line. Her clothes were worn. Her hands were rough from fixing old machines. But her eyes carried a light of innocence and quiet strength. Mrs. Williams whispered to her husband. "She reminds me of her." Mr. Williams nodded. They walked to Amelia. "What is your name, child?" Mrs. Williams asked gently. "Amelia," she replied, her voice small but steady. The couple smiled. For the first time in years, their hearts felt warm again. That evening, Amelia left the orphanage. She packed her few belongings, a torn book, a broken laptop, and a tiny locket she didn't know how she got. As she stepped into the car, the other children waved goodbye. Amelia looked back at the old building one last time. She whispered to herself, "One day, I will make you proud. One day, I will become someone great." The car drove away, carrying her to a new world. The Williams mansion was like a palace. High ceilings, golden lights, wide gardens. Amelia could hardly breathe as she walked through the doors. Ethan and Daniel smiled at her. Ethan said, "You're safe here now." Daniel added, "We finally have a sister." Mrs. Williams hugged her. For the first time in Amelia's life, she felt warmth that wasn't from a blanket, but from love. That night, she slept in a soft bed, with clean sheets, tears in her eyes. Tears of joy. But not everyone in the house was happy. In the shadows of the hallway, the maid, Clara, watched. Her face was tight, her hands clenched. She had a daughter of her own, Sophia, the same age as Amelia. And as Clara watched the family embrace Amelia like a daughter, jealousy filled her heart. Amelia's new life began like a dream. The Williams family welcomed her with warmth. Mrs. Williams brushed her hair at night. Mr. Williams smiled proudly as she sat at the dinner table. Ethan and Daniel taught her how to ride horses in the garden. For the first time, Amelia felt like she truly belonged. She whispered to herself every night, "Maybe I've finally found home." But in the same house, another heart was burning with envy. The maid, Clara, scrubbed the floors angrily, her eyes full of bitterness. Her daughter, Sophia, often visited the mansion. And every time she saw Amelia laughing with the family, Sophia's jealousy grew deeper. Clara would whisper to her daughter, "That girl doesn't belong here. You deserve this life, not her." Sophia's lips curled into a smile. A dangerous smile. One evening, Clara made her move. When Mrs. Williams brushed her hair, a strand fell on the floor. Clara picked it up quietly, her eyes shining with a secret plan. Later, in the market, Clara slipped into a small clinic. She handed over 2 samples of hair, one from Mrs. Williams, and one from her daughter, Sophia. "Run a DNA test," she demanded. Days passed. Then, the results came back. And with them, the storm. Inside the Williams mansion, Clara arrived with the papers. She handed them to Mr. Williams with trembling hands. He read the results. His eyes widened. His lips shook. "Impossible," he whispered. Mrs. Williams snatched the paper, scanned it, and gasped. Tears filled her eyes. "It's her, our daughter, our Sophia." They turned to see Sophia standing there, pretending to look confused, innocent. "Mother, father, "What's happening?" she asked sweetly. Mrs. Williams ran to her, hugging her tightly. "My baby, we've found you." From that moment, everything changed. Sophia was brought into the house, dressed in silk, pampered like royalty. The mansion was filled with laughter, tears of joy, and endless celebration. But for Amelia, the celebration felt like silence. The hugs grew less. The smiles faded. The warm dinners turned cold. Where once she was daughter, now she was just Amelia. Sophia played her role perfectly. In front of the family, she was polite, loving, gentle. But when no one was watching, her true face appeared. She cornered Amelia in the hallway one night. Her voice was soft, but her words were sharp as a knife. "This house is mine now," she whispered. "You are nothing but a guest." Amelia's heart sank. She tried to stay strong, but fear crawled inside her chest. At dinner, Sophia would take Amelia's seat. When guests came, Sophia was introduced as the miracle daughter. Amelia sat in the shadows, her voice unheard. Ethan and Daniel were confused. They still cared for Amelia, but even they could see the change in their parents' hearts. The love Amelia once felt was slipping away. That night, Amelia sat by her window, holding her little locket, tears falling. "Why does it hurt so much?" she whispered. "Why do I feel like I'm losing everything?" Outside her room, in the hallway, Sophia listened, and smiled. Amelia once lived in laughter. Now, her days grew heavy. The Williams family showered Sophia with gifts, dresses, jewelry, endless affection. And Amelia? She became invisible. At the breakfast table, Sophia sat beside Mrs. Williams, laughing sweetly. Amelia reached for a piece of bread, and Sophia slapped her hand under the table. "Don't touch what isn't yours," Sophia whispered with a smile so fake, it could fool the world. Mrs. Williams noticed Amelia pulling back. "Amelia," she scolded. "You should be grateful Sophia is sharing space with you. Behave." Amelia lowered her eyes, hiding the sting of tears. As days passed, Sophia grew bolder. When a vase went missing, Sophia blamed Amelia. When money disappeared from Mr. Williams' study, Sophia cried and pointed at Amelia. Every time, the family believed Sophia. "Amelia, I am disappointed in you," Mr. Williams thundered. "How could you lie to us?" Mrs. Williams added. Amelia pleaded, "I didn't do it. I swear." But her words floated in silence, never landing on their hearts. One night, the storm truly broke. The family had guests for dinner. Amelia worked hard setting the table, polishing glasses. She wanted, just once, to make her parents proud. But when the guests arrived, Sophia slipped a golden spoon into Amelia's pocket. Moments later, she shouted, "Mother, Father, Amelia is stealing again." Gasps filled the room. Mrs. Williams searched Amelia's pocket, and there it was. The spoon. Amelia's eyes widened. "No, I didn't, someone put it there," the guests whispered. Shame painted the family's face. Mr. Williams slammed his hand on the table. "That is enough. From today, you will stay in the basement. You have embarrassed this family for the last time." That night, Amelia carried her small belongings down the dark stairs. The basement was damp, cold, filled with dust and spiders. No windows. No light. Just shadows. She sat on a wooden box, hugging her knees, and whispered to herself, "Why? Why don't they believe me?" But even in the darkness, Amelia refused to break. She found an old lamp. She pulled out her broken laptop. She began working, fixing codes, studying, building small programs. Every time the Williams Company had IT problems, Amelia secretly solved them from her laptop. The system worked again. The company grew stable. But when the family praised the one who saved them, it was never Amelia. It was Sophia who stepped forward, smiling sweetly. "Yes, I fixed it." The family clapped, proud of their real daughter. Amelia watched from the shadows, her heart heavy, but her spirit burning. One evening, as Amelia typed in the dim light, Sophia crept into the basement quietly. She leaned against the wall, her smile sharp as a blade. "So it's you," Sophia whispered. "You've been saving the company all along." Amelia froze. She turned slowly, fear flashing in her eyes. Sophia stepped closer, her voice dripping with venom. Don't worry. I won't tell them yet. But remember this, Amelia, this family is mine. And one day, I'll make sure you're gone for good. She turned and left, leaving Amelia trembling in the dark. Amelia closed her laptop and clutched her locket. Tears slid down her cheeks. But her whisper was strong. I will not give up. I will not let her destroy me. The mansion had become Amelia's prison. She lived in the basement, treated like a shadow. The family barely spoke to her. When they did, it was with anger, not love. But still, Amelia worked quietly. She kept fixing the company's systems in secret. She wanted to prove herself, hoping that one day the truth would shine. She didn't know. Sophia had already decided her fate. One afternoon, Sophia stood in front of her mirror, painting her lips red. She smiled at her reflection. Tonight, she whispered, Amelia disappears. She had a plan. A cruel plan. That evening, the Williams Company was about to launch a new project. Investors filled the mansion. Everyone was dressed in suits and gowns, drinking champagne, laughing, shaking hands. In the basement, Amelia watched the celebration from a small window, wishing she could stand beside them. Suddenly, Ethan appeared. He brought her a plate of food. You should be up there, Amelia, he whispered. She smiled weakly. Maybe one day. But Sophia was already upstairs, planting her trap. She sneaked into the company office room. With quick hands, she copied viruses into the computers and saved files under Amelia's name. Then, she called her parents in fake panic. Father, Mother, come quick, she cried. Mr. and Mrs. Williams rushed in. They saw the files labeled with Amelia's username. The systems crashed before their eyes. Amelia did this. Sophia shouted, tears streaming down her cheeks. She wanted to ruin us. The family stormed into the basement. Amelia stood, startled, clutching her laptop. What's wrong? She asked. Mrs. Williams' face was red with fury. You betrayed us. After everything we gave you. No. Amelia cried. I didn't, please listen. I was helping, not hurting. Mr. Williams pointed at her with shaking hands. Enough lies. You are no daughter of mine. From tonight, you leave this house. It was raining outside. The sky thundered as Amelia stood at the gates of the mansion, drenched, holding a single bag. Sophia watched from the window above, smiling in victory. Amelia's heart pounded. Every part of her wanted to scream, to beg, to fight. But instead, she straightened her back. Through the storm, she whispered. You threw me away, but I will rise again. And when I do, the world will remember my name. She walked into the rain, disappearing into the night streets. In her room, Sophia laughed quietly. Finally, she's gone. The rain fell hard that night. Amelia walked through the empty streets, drenched, clutching her small bag. She had no money, no home, no family. The girl who once had everything was now nothing. 4 days, Amelia wandered the city. She slept under bridges. She ate scraps from bakeries that pitted her. Her clothes grew torn, her face pale. But through the hunger and the cold, one thing stayed alive, her fire. Each night, she whispered to herself. They took everything. But they cannot take my mind. They cannot take my gift. One morning, Amelia found a small internet cafe. The owner, a kind old man named Mr. Carter, noticed her shivering outside. Come in, girl, he said softly. You look like you haven't eaten in days. He gave her a cup of tea and a corner seat. Amelia opened her broken laptop and began typing. Mr. Carter watched with wide eyes. You know computers? Amelia nodded quietly. It's the only thing I'm good at. From that day, Mr. Carter let her stay. She fixed small problems for his cafe, broken servers, slow systems, security issues. Word spread quickly. A shopkeeper came with his laptop. A restaurant owner asked her to fix his accounts. Amelia worked for food at first, then for coins, then for bills. Step by step, her name began to grow. Months turned into years. Amelia rented a tiny room. She studied harder, bought better equipment, built her own programs. She opened a small IT service company, Amelia Solutions. At first, it was just her. Then she hired 2 people. Then 10. Her software was sharp, fast, unstoppable. Companies lined up for her services. Investors knocked on her door. One night, Amelia stood in her new office, looking out at the city skyline. Her reflection shone in the glass. She no longer looked like the orphan in rags. She was powerful. She was unshakable. And she whispered the same words she once said in the rain. "The world will remember my name." Meanwhile, across town, the Williams company was falling apart. Sophia had no skills. She only lied, cheated, and spent money on luxury. Investors pulled out. Partners withdrew. The once great family business sank deeper into debt. Mr. and Mrs. Williams argued in silence. Ethan and Daniel tried to hold things together. Sophia laughed at parties, not realizing the walls were crumbling. The mansion grew darker with each passing day. One evening, an elegant envelope arrived at the Williams estate. Inside was an invitation. "You are cordially invited to the annual banquet of the country's most successful entrepreneur, Amelia Williams." The family froze. The name felt like a ghost. Ethan whispered, "It can't be her." Sophia's smile twitched, fear flashing in her eyes. Far away, in a grand hall lit with golden chandeliers, Amelia stood in her finest gown. Her empire was complete. Her name was on every guest's lips. And she waited, for the moment destiny would bring her face to face with the family who once threw her away. The grand hall glittered under golden chandeliers. Diamonds sparkled. Laughter filled the air. The country's most powerful men and women walked across red carpets, shaking hands, raising glasses. At the center of it all, stood Amelia Williams. Once an orphan in rags. Now, the richest woman in the nation. She wore an elegant black gown, her presence commanding, her smile calm. This was her night. Her empire. Her victory. Meanwhile, across the city, the Williams family climbed into their old car. Their once luxurious lives had crumbled. Their clothes no longer glittered, their faces carried exhaustion and worry. They were desperate. Their company was sinking. They hoped tonight's banquet might save them. Mr. Williams said quietly, "We must find an investor." Mrs. Williams nodded. "Someone, anyone." Sophia fixed her lipstick in the mirror, forcing a smile. But inside, her heart pounded. The family entered the banquet. They looked around at the golden lights, the expensive gowns, the wealth that seemed so far from their reach now. And then, they saw her. Amelia. At first, they didn't recognize her. She was too elegant, too powerful, too far from the girl they once banished to the streets. Sophia smirked and whispered, "Look at her, still pretending she belongs here." The parents frowned. Mrs. Williams muttered, "I don't know why she's here. She must be someone's guest." They walked past her, not realizing she was the host of the entire evening. Guests surrounded Amelia. "Congratulations, Miss Williams. Your company is the pride of this country. You've changed everything." She smiled graciously, shaking hands, her eyes scanning the room, until they landed on her former family. Her heart skipped, but her face remained calm, unreadable. Later, during dinner, the Williams family sat at the corner table. Their clothes looked plain compared to the shining gowns around them. They whispered among themselves. Sophia sneered. "Do you see her? Acting important, standing like she owns this place." Mr. Williams sighed. "That girl always craved attention." Mrs. Williams added sharply. "She was never grateful. Even when we gave her a home." They didn't know the entire hall belonged to Amelia. The evening reached its peak. The host was about to give a speech. A voice echoed across the hall. "Please welcome the Woman of the Year, Amelia Williams." The room erupted in applause. The Williams family froze. Their hands shook. Their eyes widened. It was her. The orphan they abandoned. The girl they threw into the rain. And now, she was standing at the center of the stage, the entire country watching her. Amelia's voice was calm, steady. Years ago, I was a girl with nothing. No family, no home, no love. But I had a dream, and I had faith. Tonight, I stand here not as a victim, but as proof that even from the ashes, you can rise. The crowd roared with applause. But at the back of the hall, Sophia's phone buzzed. She stepped aside, her voice sharp as a blade. They still don't know the truth. If they find out Amelia is the real daughter, I lose everything. Her words carried across the hall, echoing in the shocked silence. The Williams parents turned pale. Ethan and Daniel stared in disbelief. Gasps spread among the guests. The truth was out. Amelia turned, her eyes locking on Sophia. The hall fell silent. Every mask was stripped away. Every lie exposed. The family who abandoned her now stood trembling in shame. The banquet hall was silent. Not a whisper. Not a breath. All eyes were on Sophia. Her voice had betrayed her. Her words had spilled the truth. If they find out Amelia is the real daughter, I lose everything. The room froze in disbelief. Mr. Williams' glass slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor. Mrs. Williams covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. Ethan and Daniel stared at Sophia with anger burning in their faces. Sophia's lips trembled. She tried to smile, to cover her mistake, but it was too late. The truth was naked now. Slowly, Mr. and Mrs. Williams turned toward Amelia. Tears streamed down Mrs. Williams' cheeks. My child, oh God, my child. All this time, it was you. They stumbled forward, falling to their knees before her. Forgive us, Mr. Williams cried. Forgive us, Amelia. We were blind. We were fools. We threw you away. Mrs. Williams clutched at Amelia's gown. We lost you once, and when we found you again, we lost you twice. Please, don't turn away from us now. The hall watched in silence. Amelia stood tall, her face calm, her eyes steady. Years of pain, betrayal, and loneliness flashed before her. The orphanage. The basement. The rain. She took a deep breath. I forgive you, she said softly. Gasps filled the room. The family lifted their heads, hope sparking in their eyes. But then Amelia continued. I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. Her voice grew firm, echoing across the hall. But listen well. Even if I was not your daughter, you should have treated me with love. With respect. Every child deserves kindness, not just your own blood. You failed me. You failed yourselves. Sophia fell to her knees, desperate. Please, Amelia, don't take this life from me. I only wanted what you had. Amelia's eyes hardened. You took everything from me. And yet, here I stand. Stronger than you could ever be. You can keep your lies. They can no longer touch me. The Williams family sobbed. But Amelia stepped back, her voice calm and final. I hold nothing against you. But I will not go back. My life is here. My family is the one I choose. At that moment, Michael, her husband, walked onto the stage. He took her hand. Proud. Supportive. Unshakable. Amelia looked at him, then back at the hall. Together, they walked forward, leaving the Williams family behind in tears. The camera lingered on the family, broken, filled with regret, reaching out for the daughter they had abandoned. But Amelia never looked back. Later that night, Amelia stood on her balcony, the city lights glowing beneath her. She leaned into Michael's arms, her eyes shining. This, she whispered, is my true home. He smiled. And this time, no one will take it from you. The final shot. Amelia standing tall, powerful, unshaken, her silhouette glowing against the city skyline. The forgotten daughter,